Hi, this is Chris from Teach Create Sell, and in this video I'm going to show you 5 things you need to know how to do in Microsoft PowerPoint so that you can start making products for your Teachers Pay Teachers account. And most teachers who are selling on TPT use PowerPoint for creating their worksheets and other resources that they hand out. So a lot of people say that knowledge of PowerPoint is what's keeping them back from starting a TPT account and starting to make money. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple things to know that's going to give you a great start on creating products that are really going to look good. So the first tip is how to get your page to look like this, where it's the size of a regular sheet of paper. And in this example, I'm using 8.5 by 11. I know not all countries are standard 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, but that's what we do here in America where I'm recording this. So that's what I'm using. Now, it's usually under design and then slide size. Sometimes there's an indicator over here for page setup. But you want to go click on custom slide size and you want to change it to 8.5 by 11 and then click OK, and it will change it so that it looks like this. So I'm going to show you that real fast because I don't think that was very helpful. Okay, so design, slide size, custom, and then change this to 8.5 by 11, and then you can see it converts it. And then if I hit Control A, I select everything and I can just delete that. So that is the first thing you need to know how to do, how to change the proportions. The second thing is how to insert text box. So you saw I went over to insert and I'm going to click a text box. So let's just type here. Sorry, typing with one hand, text box. So that's how you insert one. That's very simple, but now we need to manipulate it. So under home, once you've clicked on, see when I click on the box, I've got these 2 A's which make it go bigger or smaller, and I'm sure you know you can change your font size. You can actually type in your font size, and then you can change your fonts to whatever you want to use, and there's no shortage of fonts in here. There's also fonts that you can download online. Even Teachers Pay Teachers has fonts that you're able to download. So by the way, the one a lot of us like to use in here is this Bradley Hand or even this Comic Sans, because it just looks a little more kid-friendly. The thing we don't like about them is the A's. The A's in Comic Sans, you see it's the regular type of A, whereas in other fonts, it becomes like a sans script A, which is hard for the kids. We don't teach them that, especially in the younger grades. So that's why we use these type of fonts. Anyhow, so last thing is that you can edit the color. Now, it gives you some pre-selected colors, or there's a lot of versions have this tool called eyedropper where you can hover over something in your image. Like maybe I had a picture down here and I wanted to make the font match that picture. I would click on it and it would change it. And then lastly, you can go to more colors. It'll give you this standard wheel where it's all of these, or you can hit custom and it gives you like you get very minutia on it. Anyhow, that is how you edit a text box. Now, the last really cool thing I want to show you on here is you can click on format. Actually, there's 2 things. One, you can add an outline, and oops, not on the shape though. I undid that. Click on text outline, and you saw it got bold, and that really looks good when it's like a lighter color. See, without the text outline, it's not so pretty. It's harder to read, but when I add the outline, it looks really good. Now, another option you have are these text effects, and you can add shadows. You can add reflections so that it like reflects off off itself. You could, there's all sorts of stuff you could play around in here with, but you can transform it so that it takes on these different shapes. Now, I'm going to show you something on the shadow and then I'll do something on the transform. So let's add a shadow, and I'm clicking on this box right here so I can get this section pane to come up. Let's move that over there for a second. Okay, and I click on shadow, and what I like to do is I like to make the shadow nice and black, and I like to change it so that it's not so blurry and not so transparent, so that it's nice and dark. And what that does is it kind of makes it look like like there's two there. Instead of copying and pasting the text box and putting it behind it, you can just work with it in the shadow. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is this transform. Sometimes I'm trying to get it to fit inside of something, and I'm having a hard time as I play with the font sizes, and I'm over here messing with it forever trying to get it to line up just right. Or perhaps I have two different things, like a heading and a subheading, or my heading's really long, so it's two words. Sorry, I'm again typing with one hand. And I want them to be the same size, but it's hard. And as I minimize it, I make it smaller, I can get it to be the same dimensions, but then it's obvious it's different. So this really great technique is you go to Format and you go to Text Effects, and with your transform, you click on this first one called Square. And now you can make it fit wherever you want to fit. So maybe I want it really tall or tall and big, I can do whatever. So that really helps you get the exact dimensions you want. And if I want two text boxes to be the same, I hit Control-C, Control-V, copy and paste. And then I make this the second box. And you see, no matter what I type in there, it always fits inside that box. Okay, so that is how to work with text box inside Microsoft PowerPoint. That's tip number 2. The third tip is how to work with shapes. So let me move these real fast. Sorry, I'm moving too fast for my computer at the moment. So I'm gonna go to Insert, I'm gonna insert a shape, and you can see Microsoft PowerPoint has a lot of shapes you can pick from. And I do like to use the shapes, especially when you're trying to create backgrounds for your words. So I'm gonna show you, this is a tip later, but we're gonna send this to the back. Okay, so now I have this arrow, but you see it's off the page. So I select everything and I move it over. Okay, so this is, let's first talk about the shape. And then we'll talk about fitting it in. I can change the color of the shape to be something I want. And the same thing, I could go on my eyedropper and I can say, hey, make sure that you're the same color as that. Or I can go into my custom colors, but let's just leave it as this for now. So that's how you insert a shape and change the color. You also want to be able to insert an outline, and those will look really nice for you. So you do want to start putting outlines on all of your images. Okay, but let's say I want this arrow to look a little bit longer, so I can grab this blue dot here and I can change the dimensions of my arrow. Now, of course, that doesn't look good because the letters run out, but you understand what I'm trying to do there, or trying to show you. So now I can start to manipulate this so that it fits, but I still keep the arrow and I get all the letters in there. Okay, but let's say I just decide I don't like this box. I wish I had chosen a circle. I can click on this. I can go to Format, clicked on the arrow type thing, go to Edit Shape, change the shapes, and I can pick a different shape. And the nice thing about doing that instead of just inserting a shape is that it keeps everything I've done to it as far as the colors and the outlines and everything like that. And for the most part, the size. Oops. So now the other thing you really like about PowerPoint is that as you move it, you can see how it's showing me that line. That line's popping up in the middle, telling me that I'm centered with everything. Now I'm going to group this real fast. I hit Control G, and now it's all grouped. And then when I click on it, I can move everything together. Again, my computer's thinking really hard because it's recording at the same time. And I can ungroup by hitting Control Shift G, and it ungroups. Because let's say I really don't want this circle to look like this. I can go to Format, Edit Shape, make sure you're clicked on the image, the shape that you're fixing, and I can edit the points. Now you see all these points show up, and I can actually change my points. And as I'm changing them, you're going to see it's going to get funky, but I'm just trying to show you how this works at the moment. Okay, so that's how you edit your shapes inside PowerPoint. So that's how you edit shapes. I think that's all I need to show you. I'm going to click over here on my notes. Oops, sorry. Okay, here we go. So edit shapes. We've moved them. We've changed our points. Okay, good. All right. The fourth thing I want to show you is how to insert an image. So right off the bat, I need to tell you, don't go stealing or inserting images that are copywritten. But if you can go to Google, and you can click on images, and then you can type in what you're looking for. In this case, I'm looking for piano clip art. I don't know why I just clicked that. And then you can click on this tools button, and this will show up. And down here, it says labeled for reuse. And usually what that means is that all these images on the website, it allows you to use them in commercial products. Now, I still recommend you, like if I'm going to use this piano, I recommend you click over onto the website, pianodomainvectors.org, and read their copyright rules. It'll be on their website. I'm not going to pick that one for at the moment. All these, all right. So the way to copy it and paste it is you right click and you hit copy image, and then you go over to your PowerPoint and you can right click it and paste it, or you can just hit Control V. So that's how you paste an image. But I want to show you something, so I'm going to go back over. Let's say I grab this penguin. I hope this works as I'm doing this live. There we go. Now see, he showed up with that white box behind him, and I don't want that there. This actually isn't going to work well because the penguin's got some white in him. But anyways, what you do to get rid of that white box is you click on Format, you click on Color, and you click on this Set Transparent Color. And you click on the white, and you see all of the white goes away. Now this image, it's still got this weird white outline because it's not great resolution. And also look at his belly. It's white, but when I come over, it turns blue because it's also clear. But that is a great tool to have if you are copying and pasting an image and you can't get it to have that white background. Now you know how to do it. Format, Color, Set Transparent Color. Okay, but I didn't need to do that because you see over here, it's got all these gray and white boxes. That usually means that it's going to come through without the background. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, it's a clear image. It's got the transmitting background. All right, so I can move it just by clicking on it and moving it. I can change its proportions by clicking on the corner. If I click on a side, I can stretch it out when I change its proportions. But if I don't click on the side, if I click on the corner, it will keep the proportions constant. Okay, one more thing. Maybe I want to crop this image. Like I don't want it the whole piano. I just want maybe the keys or something. I click on Format, Crop, and you see these broken lines show up around it. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to crop down to just what I want. In this case, maybe I want a close-up of the keys for some reason. So that is how you crop your images. Now, you can also go into color and you can play with the colors so that you get something that looks closer to, maybe you need it for a different color for some reason. I don't. In fact, I don't even want it cropped. I don't even want a piano, but whatever. Okay. And I just undid everything I did there by hitting Control and Z. So that is what is that? The fourth tip, how to insert an image, change it. Oh, I also need to show you sometimes when you are trying to paste it in, you won't actually get the image, just like this weird text box appears. So what you can do is you can right click and you can save image as. Make sure you're saving it as a PNG or a JPEG, and then name it. And last, be careful, make sure you pay attention to where you're naming it or where you're saving it. In this case, I'm saving it under pictures, but a lot of times it'll save under your downloads, and you don't want that. So I saved it, then I go back over and I insert an image. Do you see image? Where'd it go? Oh, picture, sorry, insert picture. And then I'm going into where I had it saved. It says piano, I insert it, and there's my piano already saved. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is the section pane. Okay, so how do section panes work? So if you click on Format, we've already seen that we have these bring forward and send backwards options. And you see here, I have the piano sent behind the second box, text box, but not in front of the text box, which is kind of confusing to say. And then I can send it back behind both and behind the circle or whatever. Now, when there's only four, this isn't that four things. There's a circle, two text box, and a piano. It's not a big deal clicking all of these, but when you start creating worksheets, you might have, 10, 20, 50, 100 things on here, different text box and images and squares and whatnot. And it can be confusing trying to order everything. So that's why you have this beautiful thing called a section pane, and it's going to show you all of what is on your slide, for a better word. It's a worksheet, I know. But then you can just click on, this says picture 10, so I know I only have one picture, so that's the piano, but I could change it to say piano. And then you can click on that and you can drag it to where you want it to be. Okay, so that is the section pane. Okay, so we have gone over 5 things in PowerPoint so that you can get started on creating resources for Teachers Pay Teachers. Those 5 things are: we learned how to insert text box and manipulate them, how to type in them, change the color and the background, how to format the proportions so that it fits inside something you want. We learned how to do the same thing with shapes, and we learned how to insert images, and we learned how to do the section pane. And of course, the first one was, we learned the first thing you always need to do, and that's change the dimensions. So I'm actually going to show you one more thing that I failed to when we were talking about shapes, and that is borders. All good worksheets have borders, and that's something I learned very late on my Teacher Pay Teachers journey. So I'm going back and correcting that now. But if you create a border, and it doesn't have to be a rectangle, by the way, it could be, actually, let's just change this. It could be anything, but I like to use the rectangle that's got the rounded edges. I think that looks nice. So what you do is you go to Shape Fill and you go to No Fill. So see, now I have this box, but you can see everything that's inside of it. And of course, I could just make it a white fill and then send it to the back. You are learning quickly. Okay, so then I'm going to change the border. I usually use black, and then I make it nice and thick by going to weight and then thickening it up to make it a nice, big, beautiful border. Some other things you can do besides just the color and the thickness of the line is you can make it dashes. So you see here I have these really short dashes. I can get, I can get longer dashes and dots. I can do all sorts of things. And once you get better, there's even more options down here, and the more lines, this will show up over here, and you can get into some interesting stuff if you care to. Anyhow, that is one of the 5 things, and that is where we're going to end this video on 5 things you need to know how to do in Microsoft PowerPoint so that you can start making products for your Teachers Pay Teachers account and start making money. Again, my name's Chris. Please come visit me on the website, teachcreatesell.com, and download the free ebook, How to Start Selling on TPT. Thank you for watching.